the modern consciousness and real world embodiment. It's where the supernatural becomes natural again. It's not fantasy, not an escape, but as a powerful tool to be used, as a powerful truth to be understood. The reason you are called here is not because you're here to follow. You're here to remember who you are. Your soul carries a code. This space simply helps you unlock them safely, clearly, and powerfully. You're not broken, and you're not late. You're not imagining it. You're remembering. Welcome to the Sacred Code.
Hey, guys.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It going?
Nice.
It's going.
I would not want to be any other place at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
No.
That's right. You're all in Eastern Standard Time, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I had to second guess myself, but yeah, pretty much. So, depends on the time of the day.
Right.
I mean, that is true.
Feeling.
Good. So we were supposed to have a guest today, right?
We were. Yes. Ronny Leblanc was going to come on, and he was going to talk about the work that he does, the new book that he has coming out, and talking about sacred sites and ley lines. I'm going to say it. It was a little bit of a selfish reason lining up the episode because I knew that we were going to be going to the Serpent Mountains and coming back, and I just thought it would be such an amazing topic because Ronny is so knowledgeable of all of that. He had something come up, so we'll trap him some other way into a show.
He's
get him on
definitely
here.
a very busy person, for sure. And I was looking forward to it, and I love talking to Ronny. Ronny's a good guy, but we will carry on, and we will get through this. So, but it's always good to be with you guys and talk to you guys, of course. So I use a lot of hand motion here. I don't know why, but it's going on now. My wife is supposed to be here.
Happy hands.
Yeah, she's tied up too in a next town south of here. So hopefully she can join us a little later. But we are here, and we're going to continue to talk about what ancient sites and ley lines and things like that.
It's like a recognition, especially going to the Serpent Mounds, right? Like I'm an Aries, so half the time when I do something, I just decide I'm going to do it. I don't give a crap about anything else. I'm just going to do it. So I really didn't check into the history of the Serpent Mounds. I just went and did it. And I didn't realize that the Serpent Mounds is like a whole circle of sacred sites. It's just one of them. And it really just got me thinking about how important all of these sacred sites are to the human consciousness and to ascension. I think the more that we go to these sites, the more we're activated and we align with what we're supposed to. I mean, there is a reason why all of these sacred sites are, lined up with the astrological. And we've got to pay attention to that message, especially, I know it's cliche to say, especially around the sacred times like the equinox. It was fun going to the Serpent Mounds during that time. But I think it's more than just that. I think we just miss our spirituality when we just focus on those parts of the season. We should be thinking about the sacred sites all of the time. And if we can get to the sacred sites, we need to create the sacred site for ourselves.
Yeah. And, at one time it was more important, apparently, to do these things. And we discussed before we came on that, just below the Serpent Mounds and a big gigantic crater there that a meteor hit there. And that perhaps has something. Yeah, it has something to do with, it's a huge crater that people don't realize, but, perhaps that's why the site was built there, because that happened. and they witnessed it. So I'm not sure. I forgot how old they're supposed to be. Do you remember, Mary? Did you catch that?
You know what? I did not catch that. So I'm not even going to try to put anything out of it. Like the number like 2000 years would pop up in my head, but don't quote me on it because I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's BC for sure. But to think that area alone, I mean, Ohio in itself, amazingly, especially southern Ohio and southeast Ohio, was a pretty busy place at one time for ancient civilization. So, and Native Americans too. There's something about that area. Yeah, I was down there 2017 with the solar eclipse, and with Beth and Barry, friends of ours, and Deb. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it makes you realize that you shouldn't be there just for certain times. You should just cherish it all the time. So I agree.
Where is that place located?
Southeastern Ohio, pretty close to the Kentucky border. Okay, not far at all. Maybe
we stayed in Hillsboro, and Hillsboro was like 25 minutes away from it.
Okay.
So it's pretty close, and it's a pretty cool area. It's hilly, woodsy.
Something I didn't realize, it is really hilly and woodsy. Like Diddy and I almost got hypnotized and went into our own regression going around all the curves. We were like, holy crap. But I didn't realize because it's hopefully I'm saying it correctly, the Hopewell Indians. But there's like this whole circle. So we didn't go to this one because it would have been 2 hours away from where we're at. But there's a whole site that I'll see if I can find the name, that is astrologically created so that when you stand, that it aligns you specifically with the sun and the moon at specific times of the year. There's places like this all over. And the best part, really, literally, and this is like, I don't know, it's a clincher for me for a lot of things, but a lot of them are for free. We were shocked because around here, you go to a lot of these places, you're paying money to get in. And these are all, they're considered national state parks. Yeah. And you just walk up there and it's beautiful. Let me share. This one isn't from the Serpent Mounds. Let me figure if I can share how to share a picture. But I got some of the Serpent Mounds, but the second one was just straight burial, but it's so pretty. Give me 1 second here. If I can find the right button. Here we go. This is my favorite picture. Can you guys see it?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
This was only probably about 15, 20 minutes away from the Serpent Mounds. And it's the Hopewell, part of the Hopewell National Park. But these are all burial mounds.
Right.
And you get to walk right out there. It's just like it's in the backyard and you just walk right up to them.
And that's that's unusual because you have the sacred sites like that. Usually they're protected, you can't walk up them, but that's cool. I didn't know this while I was down there, so I would have checked it out. But.
And it's just like the other site. I don't have a picture of that other one. We didn't go to it. The next time I go, we're going to that. Just because It's huge and octagon. It's all things like this. These mounds that are built up specifically for astrological purposes and ritualistic purposes. It's like flipping amazing.
It feels so like just looking at the picture and like feeling it, like it feels like a lot, but hardly anything at the same time. It feels calm, but very highly energetic at the same time. There's a lot happening just within that picture. It almost feels like if you walked any further, you would be walking through a portal almost.
Yeah.
You are so right. And you nailed it right there, because when I first walked in, it was just this huge wave of emotion. And at first I'm like, oh, I'm just getting emotional because this is beautiful. Then I'm like, no,
Mhm.
it's not that. Like it felt heavy, but not like heavy mind. I just felt the sorrow, I guess. And then all of a sudden, like I felt the impression to keep walking, and it was almost like you crossed this line and it all went away, literally. Like it all just lifted, and I was like, oh, this feels great. Like, so it is like that. It was exactly like that. Like,
Almost like it's a ley line.
uh-huh. Interesting. Oh, well, the ley lines play a huge role. And like RJ and I were talking, like, you know, there's no scientific proof of ley lines, but if you were to go to your county map and draw lines between all of the sites, the sacred sites, or the tourist attractions, right? Those are your ley lines. There's a reason why all those places are in those specific areas. It's because we've been talking to star seeds for how many thousands of years, and being energetically, whether we realize it or not, shown that these sites are the highest energetic. If you wanted to be able to heal, if you want to be able to evolve, if you want to be able to open up, the closer you get to these sacred sites, the closer you get to source, is the way I see it.
Yeah.
That's the draw.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ireland. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Uh, you know, that area, like we talked about, this southern, southeastern Ohio, and within, let's just say, 100-mile radius, it has to be something about it that people collect there. Now, there's a modern day thing there too that I didn't know. On the way back, we we said we went with friends of ours who are from Ohio. They live in Michigan now. We stopped in a town. I think it was called Yellow Springs, Ohio, and the whole town is all metaphysical stores. It is so cool. So
Wow.
there must be a draw there, uh, that energy, like you said. And I look at that picture too. Yeah, I mean, just sitting back, but like you said, once you get closer and feel the ancient energy of it, um, all the residue, all the residual energy that comes back to you. And there's a reason why they built it there, because there must be something there that drew all these people there. The Hopewells was a very big society, thousands of people. And also, I want to mention that some of these mounds supposedly contained bones of giants. So, and when I say giants, I mean very extremely tall, 8 to 12 foot people.
Wow.
So, yeah, and we all know the story of the Smithsonian going and collecting them and getting rid of them so that we wouldn't have to change our history. But um, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, a lot of these mounds contain, especially in Iowa and Illinois and places like that. Uh, and yeah, you can find them going west out of there into the next states over. A lot more mounds too. It's pretty amazing how many there really are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on, like you said, the same ley line. So, um, but we were talking earlier. Scientists doesn't recognize ley lines, and to them there's no proof, and they can't figure out what it is. But someone has taken an elaborate time throughout history to connect these places and draw imaginary lines, and when you do, you get this sacred geometry. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, Sault Ste. Marie, the oldest city in Michigan. All the ley lines up there make this big, gigantic pentagram. You can just type in ley lines in Michigan, and you can see it's a big hub of these certain points, and you can't make that stuff up. So, um, and there's a Stonehenge in I think Connecticut or out east somewhere. I can't. Forgive me, I can't remember the exact state, but it perfectly aligns with Stonehenge, and goes through all these other sacred sites too. They say churches were built on these ley lines because they knew the energy was there, the portals, the whatever it is, So we had knowledge of that at one time, you know, um, and we're getting that back, of course. But um, yeah, they do something that we didn't at the time.
Yeah, they definitely didn't do anything. It definitely wasn't random. And the more I got into the trip and the more places that we went to, I started really seeing, you know, planet Earth as all these sacred sites being the nervous system of planet Earth.
Right.
And, it's all these pieces and all these sacred sites are the chakra system of the
Yes.
nervous system. And when you think about it that way, and how much we could actually activate by recognizing them as something different than just a really cool old site that's cool to go to because it's historical,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. And even Serpent Mountain, it was pretty elaborate, a pretty elaborate project. Uh, it's huge.
It
If you
is.
ever, yeah. So they took a lot of time. I don't think just for artwork. Trust me. So it represents a lot of things. It means a lot of things, and more than we'll probably ever know. But yeah. Now, Tet's from Ireland. You know, Europe in itself has many, many, many ancient sites, stone structures. Um, Stonehenge. Now we found out Stonehenge is just not these pillars of rock. They're finding out around it there was these older structures that were made of wood under the ground, and not too far from there was other structures that were made that they're finding under the ground. Uh, Tets, I think some of those. Did they say some of those rocks? No, I don't think they came from Ireland. But the story is that maybe they might have, and giants have built them. But anyway, they came from far away, and to move those, I don't know how many tons they are, uh, was an elaborate project to do. A task to do. So how they did it, I don't know. So yeah, and in England itself, in Ireland, they've got all kinds of stone structures that go way, way, way back, thousands and thousands of years. It's pretty cool. I mean, they knew that if you built in stone, it would still be there. They wouldn't rot. They wouldn't, they wouldn't go away. But to have these mounds still there is pretty cool, because they haven't washed away. They haven't eroded. I mean, they've eroded some, but there's elaborate ones like I think it's Illinois or Ohio, anyway, or Indiana. It's as big as the pyramid, and it's flat on top. And why they built this elaborate thing was just a huge football field of stuff on top. In my opinion, I think it was built for a UFO to land on.
Or to fuel,
Yep,
to fuel it with energy.
yep, something like that. Even the ones down in Mexico or wherever they're at, they represent the Pleiades, the seven. You see these structures; they're square, they're set up perfectly, and it just looks like landing spots. And they've proved underneath some of these there's mercury and there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. That I agree with you, that the fuel, and not only that, to land and to talk to the people. So because there's steps coming down from them, large steps. These people must have been pretty tall. So it's just my opinion anyway.
Wouldn't it be fabulous just to go back and be able to see what they actually did with it?
Right.
Because your mind does wonders, because we started at the coil of the snake at the tail and walked down on the left hand side, but when you get to that head of the snake, it's just a big mouth that goes down all these stairs, and you can just, well, I could envision just a woman standing there with her arms in the sky, calling in whatever. And I just know that there used to be water there,
Right.
not this big. It's just a bunch of trees now. But
Yeah.
like, just you could just imagine what it's like, and what they did with, because as you walk through too, you could feel different stages of energy. The vibration feels different at certain parts, so you know that they use that mound in separate ways for specific purposes. Like, I feel like the middle would be the one that you would want to work with for the equinox system.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about the lion's gate, the head of the snake and the coil of the snake, because that's where you're going to manifest. Like,
Mhm.
my mind goes down rabbit holes with that kind
Same.
of stuff. But the reality is the serpent mounds are great, but do you know there's so many places that are local to us that we can do the same exact thing?
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's just in our nature to think about everything else that's out there instead of what's like close. What are some of the ones that you know, RJ?
Well, there's well, just west of here, probably 20 minutes. We have a couple earthworks there where they're like 5 feet off the ground. They're about a football field around, and they're out into this state land. And they were built supposedly by the Yam Kodesh, who were here before the tribes that are here now, or they're the ancestors of the tribes that are here now. And they say they're between 600 BC and 600 AD.
Wow.
Now, and there's more to it that I haven't seen yet, but and it's weird because they have a music festival called the Sacred Mountain Music Festival just north of there, and I think there might be one on their property. I don't know. I have not been to it, but yeah, you go in, you drive back, and it's funny because the one is there's an old coffee can on a little stick, an ancient coffee can that you can tell that's where it is for the one. But when I went back there, and there's two of them, and you probably could walk to the other one, but you've got to come back out and drive about a mile and a half around to get to the other one, but it's not too far from each other. When I went into those with my dear friend Rob, who passed away, there were trees all bent over and tied in with one another, which was really weird. So there might be a vortex there, okay? And where they're at, there's a little hill system that runs east to west here, and it's not that big, maybe a couple stories high, but it's just weird that it's located on those areas. Now, they say that there was eskers underneath these underground rivers, and that they knew this, and that there were some ceremonial things going on there that when somebody passed, they could go into the underground to these eskers, and their soul would, be carried off by these waters. Now, I took a recorder out there in the second mound, or second, it's an earthwork, so it stands about 5 feet high, and you can walk around on these mounds, or these hills that were built. There was, in the middle of the second one, there's a big quartz rock. And due south, due north, there's some other boulders. So they had it marked out. And Barry, my friend, was figuring it out on his phone that, that was, one was due north and one was true north and one was just north. Okay. So there was two settings on it. But
Interesting.
and I put a recorder down at that big crystal in the middle, which is kind of pink and green and, white crystal. And I'm telling you guys, for 10 minutes, and I've got the recording around here somewhere, you could hear knocking on trees. You could hear birds that I've never heard before. And I could hear a waterfall. And it was just like it was picking up things that were in a different time or a different portal or a different something, It was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Rob, my friend who passed, he was just blown away. You know, I got to have that recording. I got to have the recording. And, you know, I gave it to him. But yeah, it was very different. There was actually, I mean, there was knocking going on that I didn't hear while I was there, but I heard it on recorder. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. You know, and I'm, you know, it's like you're listening to Bigfoot knock on a tree or something, you know. But, and, you know, like I said, you didn't hear that when you were just there, but very cool. So, yeah, just west of here, there's some sacred sites. There used to be many Michigan, but a lot of them were destroyed. I guess there's a big one down by Grand Rapids. Do you know about that one, Mary? Yeah.
Yeah, those are actually, I believe, Hopewell Indians too. There's a Norton Mound group that's in Grand Rapids, but there's some, I believe, Hopewell.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go see those ones actually.
Yeah, I'd love
I've been
to see
thinking about those because it's like 40 minutes away from me. But like, yeah, just going to the Serpent Mounds had me really thinking there has to be places just like that in Michigan, you know, that we're just overlooking.
Yeah. So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah. And Mark, you guys have heard this in Big Traverse Bay, discovered under the water were some ancient sites with mastodons carved in them, you know. So who were those people? And off the coast of like Alpena and Harrison over there on the East Coast at Lake Huron, they have proven before the lakes were there, before the big lakes were there, that there was these hills that they used to drive animals over, and at the bottom all these bones to eat, you know. So those people were here, whoever those people were. There was a big ridge that ran from Michigan to Canada. They walked, you know, before the waters were here, before the glaciers, I should say.
Well, we're still sitting on a big glacier, aren't we?
Yeah, something like that. We're sitting on something like that. I you know, I remember seeing something like that, but I can't give you any details on it. But there's a big wall.
Again.
Yeah, there's a big wall in the UP. They say it's an ancient wall that's squared, you know, they like to fit together. And some of the scientists are saying, no, it's just a natural formation, but you know, I'll buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And where'd that come from? And who built that? So,
oh, what are the rocks? What's the rocks that are on Mackinac Island? That big rock.
oh yeah,
That's considered a sacred site. It was placed by I'm not even going to try to say their name, but they thought that was a veil between heaven and earth.
Oh,
that was a ritualistic site for them.
So I know what you're trying to say. The name of the tribe, and I don't want to mess it up either, but
it's like a Shinnebeck or something like that. So not right. That is not right at all. It starts with an E and ends with a K. Or starts with an A and ends with a K.
Yeah.
Lots of letters in between. But I didn't know that. And I've been to Mackinac Island and gone on those tours, but I did not know that it was a sacred site that they would use in rituals because they considered that to be the thinning of the veil and be able to connect and communicate with spirit.
Yeah.
So all these little things that you just didn't realize about sites that have just been turned into tourist attractions. We're missing the real picture, I think, with the commercialization of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it funny that they built a very special mansion there for the governor? You know, it's been there forever too, to fly up there and spend some time there at that ancient sites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know what rock you're talking about. It's pretty cool the way it's formed and all that. Yeah, yep. It's like a portal there, right?
It feels like it.
Yeah.
When you look at the picture, that's exactly what it feels like. So it makes sense. And then you add in all that water.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
And the limestone
island.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So,
everything amps up around water. I mean, look at Old Mill. Old Mill is a fabulous place to go investigations. Like when we were there, for what was it? The Old Mill Parafest. and we got to go down into the basement, man. Like all that water, all that energy, it just amps everything up. Like I want to go to places like that so we can discover what we can do with the frequency, really.
Well, the next time if you guys make it up here,
It's in a
we'll take.
couple weeks.
Are you? Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we could head out to those places I'm talking about. So,
All
for a
right.
minute. Yeah, it's
I
not
would
too far.
totally be down.
Yeah, we'll check that out. So yeah, there's places around Michigan. I there's not very many left though. There was at one time I think they said 300 and some special places, but it's down to maybe down to 30. So
I'm sure all of those places are still activated. They're just probably just people just don't know that it's there. I'm sure that all of those, 300 sites that you're saying, energy doesn't go away.
right,
Just gets transmuted, or you know what I mean?
not
Like
about-
I'm sure they're all around, and I'm sure some people like us, for some reason, found a chance to maybe live in a new home in that area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're probably like, I don't know why it's so, like, why we were so we needed to live here, but they are for that purpose, because they needed to live or be in that spot, because they're doing the work just like we are when we travel and go to these places.
yeah, that's it's an energy you can't dissipate it like our souls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Behind my house, there's Indian mounds.
are there really?
I so want to get back there to them, but yeah, yep. And I do believe, like at the UFO con, I think this was about maybe 3 years ago. At that one, the one when we reached that part where everybody gets to share their experiences.
Right.
There was people who got up and shared experiences, like literally where I'm at, right on
Oh
that road.
wow. Oh wow.
Yep. So I'm hoping one day to be able to just get back there and feel them. But I know it probably sounds stupid, but they talk to me continuously,
Oh nice.
Doesn't
nonstop.
sound stupid at all.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
like I
oh.
just want to get back there and talk to them.
Well, I'll have to get down your way then, and we'll maybe check those out for sure if you're up for that. Our friend from Ireland is coming up with some very cool stuff here. A certain frequency can change the shape of pouring water. Yes. Now that's something I wanted to bring up. That you reminded me of something that I think at one time we knew as a species how to open these portals up with sound and frequency, and we knew
Yep.
it so well that it was just a common thing, right? We've lost that art, that knowledge, but I I don't know where they went to, and I don't know where they led to, and you had to have some big cojones to go through them if you didn't know what was going on. But I think, and I think Bigfoot does that too. I think Squatch knows how to open these portals with its sound, its frequency. So. And we were aware of where they were at a lot more than we're aware there now. They just weren't sacred sites. They were, Sedonia has a full of them, obviously. But so, yeah, we had that knowledge, and we've lost that knowledge. I think it was taken away from us. They didn't want us to know that stuff. God forbid that, we were smart at all, right? That we have some spirituality, and then, that we actually have knowledge. But that's all changing, of course, but they knew if they shut that off, we would just obey. But yeah, so you're right. I think that's that. You can do things a lot with water just by concentrating on it and changing the molecules and because water is a living thing too. And he also said the earth has its own pulse, its own, it's true. The earth is a living being. So, and she's definitely been talking to us a lot lately. So, and she has to evolve too. She has to change whether we're going to do it or not. She's going to do it. So it's her right. It's her evolution. It's her, what she does. So it's very cool.
Now I'm going to say I'm pretending that Bigfoot left me a stick this last weekend. And this is why. Because it's a weird little stick and it makes no sense why it was on the back porch because it was the only one there. And it was windy. So at first I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, there's a tree literally right there. But it was only one and it was shaped and it was lined up with other things in a really weird way. So I'm pretending that Bigfoot tried to make contact with me. Just so you know.
No, what's coming out now? What's coming out now on Bigfoot is amazing. It's just blown
There's a
wide
lot
open.
happening right now.
Yeah, blown wide open. Like, again, some of it not real, sure. Some of it AI, yeah, that's true. But I always say, and I'll say this forever, only one of them has to be real. One video of a UFO, one video.
Right. That's all we need.
Just one. So something's going on with it, and I think it's part of the disclosure. And I'm going to go a little step further and say, fairies and elves and all these things that have been hidden for their own protection, of course, from us, want back in. Okay. And so at one time, I think we did have a very good dialogue with Sasquatch and Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, Yeti. But because man is who he is, they had to protect themselves. So, and that's because of our DNA from what we've inherited from other sources, being warring and, want to battle and, me, ego. They had to step back. But I think as we're evolving as a species, they're realizing that, they're going to accept us now back into the disclosure. So I think this is happening. I really think the government protected Sasquatch for a long time and has certain places set up for him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, agree.
Yeah.
I well agree with that.
Yeah. So it may be happening that it was given the okay to make more contact, and see what happens. So hopefully that's the case.
I feel like we're treading on their land. It's not the other way around. So
Right.
I feel that there are lots of places like locations and stuff like here in every other state that has like certain like, hey, you don't belong here, or hey, you can't go over here, or oh, this is private property, or no trespass. Like a lot of these places, I think it's set up purposely for that. Because just like how there's ley lines for us and things like that, I feel like there's ones for them. Right. And they get to use that to travel and whatnot for more safer travels in a sense.
Yeah.
But once they get outside of those areas, then they're kind of treading in like, well, you're near the humans, so you do what you got to do. But
I agree. And that says the ETs have been hiding and protecting. Yes, I agree with that too. Our good friend Jen Cruz, who the Sea Squatchers, she had this amazing photographs of these Bigfoot prints going up his hill. And when they got to the top, they went in a circle and just stopped. So, man, that's kind of proof to me that they had the ability to just skim in and out. And our good friend Ronny, who was supposed to be on today, when they were in Washington or Oregon, I can't remember, they saw they had a light shining across the river on a rock, and the shadow went across it. So he said that this is proof they can cloak, but you can still see the shadow because it passed the light, but you couldn't see him. But when the shadow passed, you can see all the hair on it and everything else. So
isn't that cool? Yeah. I love how like for example, and I don't know how accurate this is in a sense, but I love watching Gaia TV, and when I was watching an episode on something, they were talking about Bigfoots and stuff and how they cloak and things such as that. And they were even saying, like, you know how we have a lot of technology that we use. So like we have infrared, we have like night vision, we got all of these different things that helps us see in this physical that our physical eyes just can't do for us, like certain light, certain, certain things, whatever. And just as they're walking by us, if you had one of those things, it would pick up so quickly what just walked by. And we just look at it because our physical eyes can't see it, but we feel it kind of walking by and probably walk right through you. Don't really know, but in a sense, they're not really necessarily they're cloaked to us. That's for our perspective, but in their perspective, I think they're just doing their own thing, like how we are, just talking, doing our thing, and we don't even realize that. Even though we're kind of sitting in this spot, we might be sitting in a spot that someone else is kind of moving around in another.
We might be sitting on their lap. We might be sitting on their lap, right?
Right?
Yeah, because scientifically,
that's a little creepy.
Yeah, well, scientifically,
I mean,
we can see 32% of the light spectrum. Only 32%. The humans can. So, like you said, Mark, gamma rays, X-rays, all these other light spectrums that we don't see, perhaps they're vibrated at a frequency that our eyes can't pick up, and they're right next to us.
They know humans. They know what we're capable of and what we see and don't see, and they're very telepathic. So they're probably like, they hear someone in their mind like, "Did I feel?" And they're like, "Oh, we got to back up." SOS.
Yeah. This one knows.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hi, how you doing, Tom? Thanks for joining us, man.
So, have you ever heard of the sacred rock on Presque Isle?
Where's that located?
Presque Isle is a part of Michigan. I believe it's in the UP, isn't it, RJ?
Yeah. I'm. When you just hit something with me. I knew that, but you just brought it back to me. That's something I hadn't thought about for a while. But yeah.
Look at you channeling.
I know he is.
No, I mean I can't bring it up. But
I know they used to use it as like a tribal marker for like rituals, but they used to use it for like offerings and blood sacrifice.
Wow. And what is that all about?
I don't know.
I mean, you go back to the Canaanites and all these people that just want to sacrifice people, and they've carried this knowledge. It got into other civilizations like the Mayans and eventually just I don't get it, but
magic, blood magic, especially it's really powerful. Regardless how you're using it, positive, negative, with your whatever your intent is. But yeah, it's very, very powerful stuff. They use that on like even all religions mostly use it. They use some form of magic like that.
Whether they call it magic or not, but you're right. Yeah. Very true.
Just like going to church and doing the blood of Christ. That is technically a blood ritual.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is. And it's used everywhere for sure.
Yeah. So it's very powerful stuff.
Yep. I get it, but the actual sacrificing part, I'm sorry. I mean, some people actually probably went into it thinking they were very privileged to be a part of it. But no thanks.
And if that was our ancestors doing that, and we were to say that to them, they would say to us then, "I used to walk 2 miles every day to school, 3 feet of snow."
We would never understand those challenges.
Well, they didn't happen too long ago.
Ancient civilizations, they call them ancient, but they're really not that far away from us at the same time. We're
No.
closer to them than we think. Like, I didn't know that we have petroglyphs in Michigan, in Cass County, or it's a Cass, Michigan. Is it Cass County or Cass, Michigan? Do you know?
I don't remember, but I have
Cass,
heard this before.
You talking about the pictographs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in Cash up there. Yeah, in the thumb. Yeah, with the Michigan no thumb. So, Ted says something. The carousel wheel in Logan's Run. My brother was in that movie, but had a little part in that movie. To be honest with you, I'll have to go back and watch that. But the carousel wheel, yeah, reminded me of that. So, any other places in Michigan you guys know about?
The only ones I know of are the ones that are underwater. So,
Yeah.
like, I heard that, Superior, Lake Superior's got quite a few different structures that are still perfectly placed, but it's just all under the water.
Oh.
That's all I know of, really.
There's a big anomaly off. What's that big island in Lake Superior? It's got wolves on it, and you know what I'm talking about. You can go there by boat. It's up in the northwest side of the Lake Superior, but it's a huge island. Anyway, there's a big anomaly that Brad and Blair and Tim Ellis had in their book. That's just off the coast of that, and it's kind of saucer shaped, but it's there, and the satellites have picked it up, and the lidar have picked it up, and very doesn't look like it's a natural formation. So, if you get a chance, they have a book out. Brad Blair and Tim Ellis. It's called like and it's a big elaborate title of monsters and legends and all this stuff in Michigan. But anyway,
They also have the Atna earthworks in Milwaukee, Michigan, which is their circular earthworks that represent like the sacred cosmology. So it's again just like the ones that were in Ohio that line you up with like the sun and the moon. So those are another places that are pretty close that you can go to. And the other ones, the Nortons in Grand Rapids, those burial mounds, those go back to like 400 BC and 500 BC.
right.
Think
So,
about that.
excuse me, Mary, did you say Zilwaukee?
Milwaukee,
Milwaukee, Michigan.
Misaki.
Misaki, Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, that's just west of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next town over, about a half hour away. So there's something about this area, and I like I said, I this hill. If you drive along 55, you can see as you're going out to Lake City, which is in Mississauga County. There's just this hill that just follows the whole area, and supposedly there's underground rivers there, eskers they call them. Now, oddly enough, huge farms are there. They must be getting this water from these underground sources. They must have known that because you can just, I mean, I'm talking huge farms, huge growing areas from here to there. So maybe they know something about that. So
Probably.
yeah,
Or they were just very, very lucky.
yeah,
That whole area is like a time warp. I
yeah,
remember last summer, it was in July, that Denny and I were coming from your guys' store and heading back to Luther. And we literally entered, I'm not kidding, a time warp. We've been that way many times. We go the same way every single time, like to the point where I wasn't even looking and I knew where we were turning because you can feel it with your body. That's how many times. We came out in a completely, don't even know where we were. And then he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I have no idea." I said, "We must have went too far and went by our road. So we GPSed it thinking that we went too far and we were going to come back up and then take a left the rest of the way. No, I still don't even understand the road that we would have turned down. We came in before it. I still don't. It just still doesn't make any sense. But somehow we came out by the freeway that we were driving to. We just don't know how we actually got there. And by the time we got back to the cabin, we were there 15 minutes sooner than it normally takes, and it takes like an hour and 10 minutes.
I'm
So
smiling. Yeah.
Place is just crazy.
I'm smiling because we've done that ourselves here. Deb and
Yeah.
I have done that too. We're like, how did we get here? We knew where we were going, but somehow we ended up wondering where the hell we were at,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do that on hikes. Whenever I go on hikes, I'm not the one where it's going to be like, oh, I'm just going to stay on the path. I'm not that person. I'm going to see something and I'm that person where I'm like, oh, look at that tree that looks over there. That looks really weird. And it's like 100 feet off the path. I'm just going to walk by, just go check it out. And for some stupid reason, whenever I go to like hikes, random hikes to like places that are like really popular, things like that. And I would find the most ironic, weird things there is. Like I went to a dark park that's like 4.5 hours away from me. I drove all the way out there, walking in the woods, and I felt, I'm going to get off trail. I get off trail, and then I find a box, a random little box that was on the ground next to a tree. And when you open the box, it was a bunch of random items that people put in the box that basically visited the park. So they just drop things in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I just dropped another thing in, closed the box, put it right where it was, and walked away. Came back the next year, and it was still there with my item and other people's items in there. I'm like, freaking
That's
weird.
cool.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I found this like plastic jar in a log, to the next to the river out here, Muskegon River, west of here, and people had put journals in there, little journals and stuff, and it's weird, out in the middle of nowhere.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about. That's cool.
Yeah, it's funny when you really follow your heart and you just go with the flow of like where you're just going. When you're really just in that flow, like you find the craziest stuff.
I'm just trying to read some comments here. Yeah. I phoned my girl from a call box and said, I'm on my way, which takes 15 minutes walk out of the town. Next thing I arrived at her house and she was shocked and can't remember my journey. It's funny how see what he calls the phone, the call box, because it's a different country. It makes perfect sense for sure. We would call a phone booth here. I don't know. Is there any phone booths left anywhere?
I don't see any anymore.
The only ones that I know of. So I live in Clinton Township, Michigan.
Yeah.
And just north of me, there's a city called Mount Clemens.
Yeah.
They used to have a few phone booths where they used to like paint it and like decorate it and stuff. Because it wasn't being used. So someone decorated it and made it look all cool. And then they got rid of them. So I don't know of any anymore.
Yeah.
Is there any in Lansing? Like downtown Lansing? Do they still have any of them?
I don't see any around.
I don't see any more around, but back in the day when I was a child, of course, in the 60s, before cell phones.
Hey, I used to use them too.
Yeah, okay. So you're you're not as young as you look, but that's what we did. We find the next phone booth so we can call so and so, because we're lost out here. We need to know where to go. And and the cell phone came, and no more call boxes, as Ted says. So
I remember my mom, when I was little, she taught me how to use the payphone. So she took me to the booth and was like, all right, all you do is you put your quarter in here and then you just dial the number and blah, blah, blah. And it'll come through, but make sure you call collect, make sure. And like, like she taught me all of it. So then there's been multiple times I used to actually have to use those booths because I would be like too far from home or something and I would need to call or whatever. But
And we had to carry a lot of
funny.
change around with us. Yeah, we had to carry a lot of change. So
Yep.
especially
I
recall
I used to have a fanny pack back then. I used to have all my little quarters and stuff in there when I was little and I would run around.
Right.
Back in the day, we had to walk 2 miles to the phone booth.
Exactly.
Nothing. You just pick up your cell
in the
phone.
snow.
In the snow, man.
And we didn't make it because our feet froze, but yeah.
And our ears were frozen to the phone.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting we talk about that because look how far we have come in 150 years.
Oh yeah, technology, man. It's crazy fast.
Mm-hmm.
Scary fast sometimes.
Well,
like here we are with AI, and within like a couple years from now, can you imagine what AI is going to be capable of?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Yeah, like can you imagine what our technology is going to be just in 5 years? Look back in just the 2 years, just 2, on how fast we just went. I can't imagine 5, honestly, where technology is going to be in 5. Like we're going to probably be, watching live on NASA or something, a bunch of cameras in space looking at all of these different things. And we're just like, wow, this is life now.
Yep.
The only thing that I'm really worried about right now is I don't know who's in control of it. I want to know who's got, you know what I'm saying? And once I find that out, and once I realize that the good guys are controlling it, I'll feel more comfortable with it. I've dealt with it a little bit, but it always tells me what I want to hear. You notice that? It always tells you what you want to hear. So, when I find out that it's actually being run by the positive people, whatever who they are,
the white hats,
or the extraterrestrials, whoever they are. I'll be, but I know it's part of our evolution. I know that, but we'll see.
Well, that's all we have for today.
Real quick though, just curious before we end it. Have you guys heard about the meteors that have been falling just over the last, so you heard about the one that hit Michigan?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So far, there's been only 3 that has been factual in a sense, because we don't have proof in a sense for the other ones that people have been talking about. There's one that hit Ohio, and then there was one that hit Michigan.
One in Texas.
And the one that hit Michigan supposedly was really close to Grand Rapids. And the one that hit Ohio, I don't know where it hit. But these meteors are coming down pretty quick. And the people that have been finding the meteors that are in the ground have been magnetic. So that also reminds me, and I wanted to bring this whole topic up in the very beginning when we first started, because you were talking about, you were talking about how meteors came, we get magnetized to meteors, our bodies with all of the elements of Earth and all of the stuff, so a lot of the things that we're connecting, a lot of dots and stuff. I don't know, I wanted to bring that up because I find it very curious that with the veil kind of thinning, and now suddenly we have all of these meteors that are just falling close to these ley lines. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's fun to see these things falling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on for sure. And we were going to bring that up with Ronnie too. So we should have probably got into that. But next time we'll talk about that for sure.
For sure.
All right.
Well,
talk to you guys.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Thanks
Love
for
you too.
listening, everybody. Bye now.
It was good seeing you too.
Yeah.